Hey, I'm Melanie, and my mission is to help you become your strongest self at any age. Today, we're talking about supplements to help you survive perimenopause. So, we're going to cover things like sleep, body composition, bone density, and brain health. We'll talk about circulation and estrogen dominance. And at the end of the video, I'm going to cover a supplement that targets a problem that many of you have and don't even realize is related to aging. So make sure you stick around for the whole video. Before we get started, there are a couple of things you should know. First of all, I don't get anything for talking about these supplements. I'm not sponsored by any of them. As always, it's important that you do your own research and make sure that any supplement you use is right for you. And there are so many supplements out there that I could have talked about today. So what I wanted to ask you to do is, if there is a supplement that you find particularly helpful, leave a message in the comments. Let us know there, and let's make that a space to share and help others. So let's get into the supplements. The first supplement I wanted to talk about today is creatine. So this is one you may have heard me talk about before. I take the recommended dose in the fitness industry, which is 5 grams per day, and is supposed to help with muscle building, strength, and exercise performance. However, there is research now that other tissues in your body, other than your muscles, may also benefit from creatine. So your brain, your bones, and your heart all have increasing needs for creatine as you get older. And you may actually need slightly higher doses of creatine to get the benefit for these tissues. In fact, for brain health, it's thought that you need about 10 grams per day to actually cross the blood-brain barrier and for your brain to benefit from that extra creatine. So what I've been doing lately to get these benefits is I've increased my dose. Because I already take 5 grams per day, it's really easy for me to increase to 10. They do suggest that you separate the dose if you can, because the absorption may be a little bit better. So I take 5 grams in the morning when I have my pre-workout, and then I take 5 grams later in the day when I have my electrolytes. And so for me, this is just a really easy thing that I can do every day to potentially help my brain as I get older. The next supplement I wanted to talk about is really common in perimenopause. A lot of ladies use this one, and it's DIM, or diindolylmethane. So this is derived from cruciferous veggies, and it's thought to help promote estrogen metabolism and to shift you towards having more of the good estrogen in your body, and to help you get rid of the bad estrogens. And so if you have things like fibroids or heavy bleedings or endometriosis, which are all related to estrogen dominance, a supplement like DIM in theory could be helpful. And in the past, I have certainly used DIM for those things. However, when you have something like fibroids, it's really hard to know if DIM is actually working, but in theory, it should. Lately, however, I've been using it for breast tenderness. I was having some low-level breast tenderness for quite a long time that just wouldn't go away, and I thought I really need to get on top of this, so I got some DIM. And within a couple of days of taking it, it was entirely gone. So this is a supplement that makes sense to me at this stage in life. Now, one thing I wanted to let you know, though, is that when you start taking DIM, you may actually have some side effects for the first couple of days. So when I first started taking it, I had a low-level headache and some nausea, and I was even a bit more emotional than normal. And all of these things are completely normal and should go away within a couple of days, and they definitely did for me. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm glad I persevered, because it is really working for me. However, if you don't know about those things, you might just think this supplement is making you sick, but that's actually a sign that it's working, that it's helping to detoxify the estrogen. The next supplement I wanted to talk about is Diosmin. Diosmin is derived from the rind of a citrus fruit, and it's used for vein health and circulation. The brand that I'm using at the moment is Probiotics, and the supplement is called Vein Factors. It has a couple other things mixed in it for circulation. The reason that you might take Diosmin when you're in your 40s is for things like varicose veins, spider veins, if you have veins that are painful, and if you have restless legs. It should help with all of those things. Now, restless legs is a more complex problem, but for me, I do notice some relief when I am taking Diosmin, and I make sure I take it before bed for that reason, because that's when I tend to get more restless legs. The other reason I take Diosmin is that in one of my legs, I have a vein that's borderline varicose. And when I'm not taking Diosmin, it throbs and it's more swollen. When I take Diosmin, it's much less visible and I don't feel that vein. So for me, it's a supplement that is hopefully helping prevent the development of varicose veins, which is really common in my family. So that's the reason that I use it. Now, one thing you should know is that Diosmin is the supplement form. However, there is a next level version of this that's available by prescription and is slightly more powerful. So it's called micronized purified flavonoid fraction, but also known as Daflon. So in countries like the United States and Canada, you may be able to get this by prescription. And in Europe, it's actually a first line treatment for vein problems. So it's something you can potentially ask your doctor about. And I have actually used Daflon when I travel internationally, because when I take those long flights overseas, I get really awful restless legs and like it's so painful, I just can't bear it. So I take Daflon when I travel and it definitely makes a big difference. The next supplement I wanted to talk about is magnesium. Now, many ladies take this already and I don't really need to get into the benefits of it because you probably know why you should take it. However, what I wanted to do is make sure if you are taking it that you're taking a form that you're actually going to get some benefits from. So have a look at your label and just make sure that you're not taking a magnesium oxide. If you want to get the benefits of magnesium, you should look for a magnesium bisglycinate or a citrate. And in fact, the bisglycinate is probably the better form. So if you do have a budget for a slightly more expensive magnesium, that's what I would look for. So that's all I wanted to say about magnesium today, but it definitely deserves a place on the list for perimenopausal survival supplements, especially if you have sleep problems. I would recommend taking about 300 to 400 milligrams before you go to bed. The final supplement I wanted to cover today is oral probiotics. As we get older, it's really common to have more teeth and gum problems. I see this with so many ladies. But what we may not realize is that those problems can be related to the decline in estrogen around menopause. And the reason I'm using oral probiotics is that I've been having a lot more gum problems as I get older. And I wasn't getting answers from my usual dentist and hygienist. So I sought out a holistic dentist to help me understand more what was going on with my mouth. And one thing he explained to me is that some people just have more of the bacteria that causes gum problems and gum disease. And what I could actually do was take these oral probiotics to shift the bacteria to more of the good bacteria and crowd out those bad ones. And the way that you use these oral probiotics, they're in a lozenge form. They recommend that you brush your teeth and then leave the lozenge to dissolve in your mouth as long as possible so that that bacteria has a chance to establish itself. And so I take these before bed. And one other thing I thought that you might want to know about these lozenges is that this company has a travel pack and protocol that you can do. So if you are somebody who travels a lot internationally and often gets sick, it's worth looking into these lozenges because the research suggests that taking these and having more of that good bacteria can potentially help protect you against colds and even possibly COVID. So I have used these when I've traveled internationally. So that's my perimenopausal survival stack. I wanted to give an honorable mention to fish oil and curcumin. These supplements are great for inflammation as you get older, but I had enough to talk about today, so I didn't get into them. Remember, if there's a supplement that you found really helpful, leave a message in the comments, share it there. And before I let you go, I just wanted to remind you that perimenopause doesn't have to be so terrible. There's so much you could do to help yourself. And I wanted to let you know about my new program, Mind and Muscle, that is all about helping you get control at midlife. So whether you want to improve your body composition, your mood, your energy, your brain health, I cover absolutely everything in that program. Think of it as like your ultimate course and guide to midlife and to just helping you thrive at this age, because there's just so much that's possible for you. And as always, I like to make things really practical so that you actually get results. So each unit comes with a challenge to help you put into practice what you're learning. So I'm going to leave a link to that program in the description of this video, and you can check it out over on my website. That's it from me today. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and leave a comment, because it helps my channel so much. I will see you again next time.